You know what I gotta say though, when it comes to Between the Sheets, sometimes Between the Sheets is actually better than the actual show. But nonetheless though, after The Single Life aired, well, Behind the Sheets aired straight after that. So let's get into some of the comments that were made by other cast members regarding the current cast members for The Single Life. So let's get into it, folks.
Season ended and Jasmine and Gino broke up, Gino actually reached out to a friend of mine. He invited her out for drinks. She was like another 90-day-er person.
Oh, but
Yeah, Manga?
what? So he was gonna fly?
They're in different countries.
5 months after our marriage.
So that's very, very interesting. So Gino reached out to Magda. Very interesting. And he was even willing to fly out to Poland to obviously, spend some time with her. To be honest with you, the fact that he thought he could get Magda is actually crazy work. But at the same time, I low-key respect the confidence to believe that she was actually ever going to consider him. Let's just call it spade for spade, folks. You know what I mean? But that's obviously a little tea that Vanya obviously wanted to spill here. Now, Vanya is actually also a part of The Single Life, just that obviously she hasn't premiered yet on this current season. But and to be fair, so is Courtney for that matter. I just realized, god damn. But with that being said, though, let's get into the next couple, or sorry, the next viewers that we got here. And this one here is from Jamal and Sophie. But the thing that I find very interesting about Sophie and the Rob situation, well, we'll get there when we get to Rob. But let's get into this little bit here.
You guys hooked up.
No, me and Chantel never had sex.
Just kissed. Oh, see? There's something there.
So that's quite interesting. Jamal and Chantel maybe have a little bit of a history. Maybe they went out on either went on a date, or maybe they was just in one of these 90-day events and they crossed paths, and who knows, maybe they did have a little physical connection, but not necessarily obviously intimate in particular. I mean, listen, to be fair, Jamal made it abundantly clear they definitely did not sleep together, which I do believe in, but whether or not they did a few other things, well, that is the question, because Jamal definitely did not deny that. But the question is, folks, is anybody surprised by this? Because I remember specifically there was a time when people were saying that Jamal and Chantel should probably give it a try. Some people felt like as if them two could be a good match. For me personally, I never saw it, because, well, Chantel's a complete airhead, you know what I mean? Like, the woman really does lack a lot of brain cells. And I say that from the context that we've always been given from her on the show. And at the same time, I just don't feel like Jamal is mature enough to be able to enter a relationship with someone like Chantel. But Chantel needs a man that's going to step into her life and actually be a leader. Do you see what I'm saying? A really leader into... just have to live life, because goddamn, that girl is just something else. But hey, it doesn't matter anymore, but Chantel is now engaged to her girlfriend Ashley anyway, so it's all irrelevant now. But with that being said though, let's get into the next one. Now, Usman had a very interesting thing to say regarding Kimberly. And yeah, let's get into what he said.
Kimberly going on a date with other people actually give me a happy moment, because I feel like that would be the reason why she'd be alone. As long as Kimberly's in a relationship with anybody, leave me, she always think about me and thinking that we're going to get back together.
Here's the thing. There's a strong chance that maybe what he's saying is true, but at the same time, the fact that he's actually talking about it is quite concerning, because, bro, you're talking about the fact that this woman will always want to be with you as long as she's single, which again is probably true, but at the same time, why do you even bother uttering those words? Like, does he say it because he makes him feel like as if, he is this guy, yeah, I'm that one guy that she's always going to want to be with no matter what? Like, does he feel like, let's just call it what it is, folks, right? Kimberly wanting to be with you is nothing to brag about. That's the grand scheme of it. He's saying it as if it's something to be bragging about, as if she's this amazing woman, you know what I mean, inside and out, when she's neither. I say as it is, but anyway, we continue, man. Usman and his ego. It's funny.
5 months after our marriage, my ex met a random guy at the gym and cheated on me with him.
Oh my god, you're not talking to me.
While she was married to me, she got pregnant.
It is kind of crazy that Gino went into that level of details. But anyway, let's get into what Jasmine had to say. All of my exes, they can never stop talking about me. I'm Jasmine, and I don't regret none of this.
Happened to all my exes. Like, they can never forget about me. They are always talking about me. They should create a group. Like.
It's funny because Jasmine's always talking about Gino. She says as if she doesn't do the same thing. She talks about Gino literally every other month on social media just to give traffic to her page. All right. And then also on top of that, when she was with Gino, all she ever did was talk about her ex. Oh, Dane was this, Dane did this, Dane is that. Like, lady, you're saying as if you don't talk about your exes neither. Calm down, humble yourself. Is that, you know what? It's crazy because just like Usman, you feel like bragging about the fact that Gino speaks about it as if it's a big thing. Whoa, whoop-de-doo. But don't forget, folks, she said all of her exes. Whoop-de-doo. But the maddest thing about it is that she is bragging about the fact that her exes talk about her. But the maddest part about it is, why would you brag about your exes talking about you in a negative way? She's acting as if her exes say, oh yeah, I remember I used to be with Jasmine and that woman was so beautiful. Her personality was just so riveting. You know, obviously the smile, the things that she used to come out of her mouth were so intelligent. Bruh, she doesn't, none of your exes ever speak about you in a positive way. They all speak about you in the worst way possible. Well, let me not say all of exes, I don't know all of the exes, you know what I mean? But why would they speak about it in a positive way? Like, let's just call it what it is. But either way, Jasmine, you know, truly believes that she's someone.
The drama of the evening. They all deserve it.
No blue pills this time, baby. No blue pills.
Gino showers once a week.
Actually disgusting. Jasmine says that the reason why she bought Gino different colored underwear is that's the only way she knew if this man showered or not. That's disgusting. Utterly disgusting. You're telling me that you stuck around for 5+ years with this man when he was not even cleaning himself. Yo, that's crazy business. And also on top of that, you used to complain and scream with the fact that this man would not sleep with you. Why would you want to sleep with somebody that didn't clean themselves? That's crazy.
And that's why, and I'm not joking, I bought him. Said you have to change the underwear. On Mondays, you wear the blue. On Tuesday, you wear the green. If I see you on Tuesday still with the blue, then you're gonna have a problem.
That's just nasty. But this man's 50+? And he hasn't learned to bathe himself? Nor has he learned to even change his own clothes? Yo, man, that's just disgusting. Waking up today in these underwear, going to bed in the underwear, waking up in that underwear, and then going about it for like a whole week? Damn, that's nasty. It must have stunk down there. And this woman complained about the fact that he wouldn't sleep with her? What the hell? She should have been happy that he didn't want to sleep with her. What the hell is going on here? Yo, disgusting. You know, she's saying all this stuff here in a way to try and drag him down, which to be fair, it is. But at the same time, she's kind of forgetting that this is now exposing herself. But anyway, let's continue.
Called you at 4 a.m. from a block number. That's so cap. There's no way. There's
Call me on the number. And the first thing he said was, why did you block me?
I hit her up just to say what's up, and I see I'm blocked.
It's quite funny because Rob now tries to justify the situation. But you know the thing that I found the most wildest about this whole situation? When Rob was on Hunt for Love, Sophie said that she was meant to appear on Behind the Sheets for when he was on Hunt for Love. But Rob categorically refused for her to be allowed to be a part between the sheets. She said that this man pretty much threatened her and said, listen, you cannot be on there. I don't want you on there commenting on my shiz. But now, Sophie's on the single life. Rob is on Behind the Sheets and he can now comment on Sophie? Interesting.
And I'm like, the only way to try is either you ask somebody else call or you call star 67, see if it goes through. Call star 67, it goes through.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I've broken up with my girl, if I've broken up with my wife, and we know that a divorce is coming at some point, okay, we're gonna be signing those papers, and I try and ring her, and my number goes engaged, which clearly is telling me that I'm blocked. I promise you now, I am not going to get someone else's number to try and ring her to see if she answers on that one. That is crazy business. That is pure stalkerish, creepy, just behavior. Now, of course, if I have to get in contact because it's an emergency, something that is necessary and something that I need to tell her, not gonna lie to you folks, I still wouldn't go on my way to try and contact that person simply because, well, if you decided to block me, well then that's on you. So if I can't tell you certain information because you decided to cut me off, that's you. But here's the thing though, folks. people act as if like phone calls is the only way, is the only form of contact. Look at it this way. If it's that necessary, you ring, the number doesn't go through, you can always message you on social media and then be like, hey, I tried to ring you, but I couldn't get through. But then if you're blocked on social media, all right, cool, no worries about it. If it's, again, that deeper, you have to obviously contact that person, but then you have one more resort, email that person, just to say, hey, I'm trying to contact you, and I need to tell you something, But to be fair, though, when you contact that person, you say, I try to ring you, you don't contact me and say, oh, I try to ring you, so can you unblock me so I can ring you back? Or I try to ring you, but I don't know why it's not going through. Ring me when you get a chance. Hell with that. Do you know what you should do? Email or text that person, whatever, and say, listen, I tried to ring you just to let you know about all of these said things. Have a good life. Simple as that. Because really and truly, why do we need to have the phone call in the first place? You see what I'm saying? So the fact that he's trying to justify that he had to find a way to contact her, yeah, that's just bad.
And she answers with an attitude like, you blocked me? And I'm just like, okay, I didn't see it coming. I wasn't expecting that, but all right.
We're not supposed to see it coming when somebody blocks us. Let's call it spade for spade. What the hell are we talking about?
And calling me, I put my life on it. I know I never called her while I was in Tulum during Hunt for Love. I did not call her. She called me.
I remember when he was on Hunt for Love. I remember him saying that Sophie was ringing him every single day when he was there, and that's why after the Hunt for Love finished and they did the whole and then he returned back to the States, him and Sophie slept together. But that was based on the fact that he never told her that he had obviously made connections whilst he was on Hunt for Love. So I remember him specifically saying that she was the one that was ringing him all the time. So that's why I feel like maybe I'm inclined to believe what he's saying here, that it was her that was trying to ring him all the time when he was in Tulum. But again, that then doesn't necessarily support the fact that she had blocked him, though. Why would she go from blocking him to now ringing him constantly? I don't know. Maybe once he figured out a way to speak to her after she blocked him, maybe on that phone call he was like, yeah, I'm going to be on Hunt for Love, I'm going to go to Tulum, yeah, I'm going to go mingle with all these women, da-da-da-da-da-da, in your face, you know what I mean? And maybe in that conversation, he knew saying that was going to trigger Sophie's jealousy, and therefore he knew that she was then going to be on him the whole time, ringing him, so much to the point that once he left Tulum, she was going to be ready to open up her legs for him, simply because she was going to do it out of jealousy, out of the fact of saying that, oh, so remember all of this here? But here's the thing, if he knows how to tap into her emotions and he knows how she's going to react to it, so there's a chance that maybe that's what went down then. That's why she was on his line constantly. That could be it. So maybe she, you know what I mean? Maybe that's the situation. So maybe she's not, maybe there's a little bit of truth here, but we had to figure it out. So that could be the scenario. I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Because if I was a manipulative person now, that's some dumb shiz that I would probably do. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay? Because that's what people do, right? And I'm sure there's some of you toxic people out here watching right now that's definitely done that. You know how to trigger your partner. You know how to trigger somebody you used to sleep with. You know what buttons to push to get them back in your bed. So maybe that was a situation here, okay? And that's why he's probably telling the truth regarding the fact that he never rang her and it was always her ringing him. And whilst he was in Tulum, he was reassuring her that, oh yeah, I'm not going to be sleeping no one, blah, blah, when we saw the whole shebang. It was a hot mess. Either way, the drama and the chaos and the toxicity with Rob and Sophie continues. Yeah. Anyway, with that being said, though, let me know your thoughts down below and stay tuned, because obviously next week we'll be back again with some more reviews on the single life as well as behind the sheets, and of course the current flagship show of Before the 90 Days that unfortunately did not air this week simply because the Super Bowl was on. I mean, if it was the World Cup, I understand, but that's like a national international thing that's kind of shown. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, whatever. And to be fair, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm convinced that 90% of the people that watch 90 Day Fiancé are probably not even football NFL fans. Like, let's just call it what it is, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, TLC, screw you. I'm out. Thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace. Yeah.